Revelation chapter 13 and 16, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the hopeful elect out there scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, and to the sincere believers. This is the brother WR from the GMS Toronto camp, coming back at you with another one. And yesterday I did a little lesson about how silicone. What was it? Down there. Some CEOs down there in pretty sure Silicon Valley. Saying how those who refuse to get brain implants, will basically, will be left out. And we already know what those brain chips, go into. They go into the mark of the beast. And I was also, just here. I was watching some brothers' videos, and just thinking to myself, basically, people are gonna sell us out. We're gonna be betrayed. We're gonna be betrayed by loved ones. Our apostles and elders always talk about spies being there. There's spies in every single camp. Just meditating, because they're going to, deem the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai as a threat, as a threat to society. They're gonna label us things that we have no involvement in. They're going to use, our videos that we push out. They're gonna do many things to make us look like like bad people. And we're going to people are gonna betray us. Family members are gonna betray us. Even the ones in our household. I was watching a video from I think it was like an AI video, and it was going into when this basically when the mark of the beast is made mandatory, how Esau is gonna make it where you if you're not complying with getting the chip, you're gonna get thrown in these concentration camps. They're gonna reward people for calling in the hotline and getting those who don't want to partake in that system off the streets. So I want to start off with this in Matthew 24:8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake. So we're going to be hated on because we follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We're going to be hated on because of the message that we preach. We're talking about the downfall of Esau's kingdom. A kingdom that everyone, that majority of the people enjoy. Even our people, even 2/3 of our people, they love being under the rulership of Esau, Edom. And we're gonna be brought in. They got tabs on our videos. They know, they know our location, especially with these phones, IP addresses. Okay, and we're gonna be, we're going to be made the enemy. A good movie that showed this with the whole AI technology was the Running Man. I believe it came out last year, and it's a good movie. I recommend brothers to watch it. And in that movie, uh, basically they were manipulating, videos of the main dude, having him say things that he didn't say. You know, so Esau could very well do this, with the videos that we're putting out now, or completely just create something from scratch. So let me read this again. Matthew 24:9, and they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So, people are gonna people are gonna be betraying people. You know, this could be within the camps. This could be within your own household. You know, because if you don't get that if you don't get the chip, you're not gonna be able to you're not gonna be able to provide. You're not gonna be able to buy food. You know, you're not gonna be able to operate. In the society, and this is gonna, when people can't eat, you know, it causes them to do it causes them to do things. You know, those of us who have children, who have little seeds, you know, when we're no longer able to go and buy food for them, our women are gonna come against us. You know, our mothers, even our own children, they're gonna come against us. Sell us out. Call the authorities. have us dragged out. You know, those of you who those of you that have been through it, who have had, who have wrongfully had authorities been called upon you, because I've been through it. You know, I've had it where I did no wrong, but still was, escorted out my own home. It's going to be the same thing in the time of Jacob's trouble. It's going to be the very same thing. A lot of our women who we think are down with us, a lot of, our children, some of us who may have older children, or friends in this world who know what you're all about. They're gonna sell us out. They're gonna be calling in those hotlines, calling into Esau, for reward, because Esau is gonna reward people for selling out the men of Yahweh Shimei Shai. Mainly those in Great Millstone. Because these other camps ain't talking about. They ain't talking about the MOTB. They ain't talking about uh, these type of things that are gonna happen. But it's to be expected. You know, we're preparing ourselves. We understand what we're gonna have to go through in order for this truth. In order to in order to ultimately, gain salvation. We're gonna have to go through these things. Our Savior had to go through these things. Yahweh Shai had to go through these things. So we're gonna have to do the same. And it's something that us brothers should be thinking about. You know, getting our minds mentally prepared. You know. This is Luke 21:16. Even those closest to you, and this is in the NLT. even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you, and they will even kill some of you. You know, these these camps out here, these other Israelite camps, they ain't talking about this. You know, the we're gonna be made public enemy number one on this earth for not complying with Esau's system. You know, they're going to come after us. You know, people are going to betray us. You know, that even some of the ones who we don't even think, who we wouldn't even think would do such a thing. You know, like it says, even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends will betray you. They will even kill some of you. You know, that's just what it is. You know, that's just what it is. You know, a lot of all of our family members know what we're about. A lot of our, you know, people that we know in this world know what we're all about. You know, your woman, those of us who live a woman know what we're all about. You know, that cousin. You know, people are gonna betray us, man. You know, because these times are gonna be, the time of Jacob's trouble is gonna be a time like never before. People are gonna be desperate. You know, people are gonna be desperate. They're gonna be scared, and you know, it's going to cause them to do certain things. You know, it's going to cause them to do the unthinkable. This is Micah 7:5 in the NIV. Do not trust a neighbor. Put no confidence in a friend, even with the woman who lies in your embrace guard. In your embrace guard, the words of your lips. For a son dishonors his father, a daughter rises up against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the members of his own household. But as for me, I watch and hope for the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and wait for my power, my Savior. My power will hear me. So we understand these things are gonna happen, but we just have to, wait on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You know, when the authorities, because some of us, talks about some of us being thrown into prison. Some of us being, killed for this truth. And we just have to pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to keep that spirit on us, to just endure these things that are gonna come upon some of us. The people are, people are gonna be, there's gonna be a division. Everyone, it's gonna be like everyone for themselves, because that's how scary these times are gonna be. The time of Jacob's trouble. And that's why we say, like the brothers in the truth, that's all we got, because we're of one minded. We all believe and we all believe in the same thing. We all believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Obviously, yes, like I said, yes, there's spies, amongst us, but for the most part, the brotherhood is all we have, because these people in the world, they don't believe what we believe, they don't trust in who we trust. They don't see this world the way we see it. They're mentally not getting ready for the persecution that's going to come with for being disciples of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. But us are the hopeful elect. we getting ready for these things. You know, we're getting ready, and we praying that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua will have mercy upon us to to endure. Psalms 41:9, ye my own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, whom did I eat of my bread, had lifted up his heel against me. So, yeah, just backing up the point, betrayal. We're gonna be betrayed. We're gonna be betrayed. The scriptures talk about these things. Like I said, Yahweh Shai went through it. So I'm gonna read that account because Judas, he witnessed these miracles. He ate bread with Yahweh Shai, and yet, he still betrayed him. Because that was his lot. And there's gonna be many Judas out there, who are gonna come up against the brotherhood, and betray us. So this is John 13 and 18 in the NLT, and you see the heading: Yahweh Shai predicts his betrayal. So Yahweh Shai knew it was gonna happen, and like unto now, the prophets of the Lord, we know the same thing is gonna happen unto us. So verse 18. This is Yahweh Shai. I am not saying these things to all of you. I know the ones I have chosen. So the Lord knows, who his elect are, and he knows those ones who are gonna betray the elect. I am not saying these things to all of you. I know the ones I have chosen. But this fulfills the scriptures that says that one who eats my food has turned against me. I tell you this beforehand, so that when it happens, you will believe that I am the Messiah. I tell you the truth. Anyone who welcomes my messenger is welcoming me, and anyone who welcomes me is welcoming my Father who sent me. Now Yahweh Shai was deeply troubled, and he acclaimed, examined. I tell you the truth. He acclaimed, I tell you the truth. One of you will betray me. So Yahweh Shai knew that one was going to betray him. He knew. So it didn't. It wasn't a surprise to him. The disciples looked at each other, wondering whom he could mean. The disciple Yahweh Shai loved was sitting next to Yahweh Shai at the table. Simon Peter mentioned to him to ask, who is he talking about? So that disciple leaned over and Yahweh Shai and asked. So that disciple leaned over to Yahweh Shai and asked, Lord, who is it? Yahweh Shai responded, it is the one whom I have given the bread and dip in the bowl. And when he had dipped it, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. So, that just showing, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai was betrayed. So his prophets, his elect, and this time are gonna go through that same betrayal. They're going to be betrayed. They're going to be betrayed by ones that they least expect. This is Luke 12. And let's get right to the point. 53. The Father shall be divided against the son against the father, and the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, and the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So there's going to be a division. Everyone's going to be divided. It's like I said, the enemies will come from those of your own household, right? So when things when shit hits the fan, when the mark of the beast is made mandatory, a lot of us are going to be are going to be betrayed by those who we think are down with us, but really are not. And we can't get mad at it, because just like it was Judas's lot to betray Yahushua. There's people amongst us who that's just gonna be their lot, and all of that is to just test us ultimately, that are we worthy? Are we worthy for the salvation? So yeah, that's gonna do it. Just the point. We're gonna be betrayed for this truth. So I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace, blessing, and safety to all the hopeful elect out there, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. I pray this lesson was edifying, and until the next one, Shalom.